thought for the day. Rainbow candles and crazy hippie adventures. Hello. It's nice to see all these candles laid out in sequence like this. We've got all of our rainbow candles back in the shop, which is exciting. There's something very satisfying about seeing all the colours like this. And it reminds me of a story that somebody once told me, a chaplain that we used to know in another town that we used to work. A nice chap, very eccentric, and this story always stuck in my mind, and I included it in one of my books, Rhythms of Life, because I think it illustrates a nice point, and it's going to be the subject for thought for the day. Okay, so this chap is probably about, I don't know, 65, 70. He's been around the block. And when he was a student, when he graduated from university, a few people in his graduation year, a few of them had this idea of hiring a Volkswagen camper van where maybe 5 or 6 people could jump on board, and they'd tour around the country and have all sorts of adventures. And one of the guys dropped out, and he didn't know these people that well, but they asked him if, you seem like a good chap, do you want to have an adventure with us? And he said, well, yes, I'm not doing anything for the next month. Let's go on an adventure. And he did. This is a chap that is very set in his views from a Christian perspective. And the first thing that he realised that these hippie type dudes, that he called them, seem to have the same excitement about life and about the divine energy in everything that he had, even though they wasn't devout Christians, and he struggled with understanding this. At the time he just went along with it and thought, okay, these are fun people and they're good people. But as the years rolled on, he used to puzzle with the idea that these by definition would be New Age people with alternative views, and they followed the rainbow. There's the link there with the candles. And his problem that he had with his philosophy was that they wasn't following the one true light, the Christian light to God through Jesus. So how could they be harbouring the same light that inside that he could feel? And he relayed this story to me because he'd never come to terms with and worked out into his philosophy what was going on there. How could they have the light of God if they wasn't following what he believed to be the only true way to the light of God? And I said, well, what is actually your problem here? And he said, well, I'll tell you what my problem is, dear Johnny. They follow the rainbow. They like the scattered colours. They enjoy the different colours. And their spirituality is very much like this. It's very scattered. And they try all different elements of spirituality in a way of experimentation. And they're missing the pure light altogether, the pure light of God. And so how can they have the light of God within them when all these colours have confused them and they're going in the wrong direction as a result of that? I said, you're looking at this all wrong. It's not like that at all. Think of the divine scattering the one pure light into many colours, the rainbow, to create many pathways that will appeal to many different characters of person that will eventually create pathways back to the one pure source. So it's not a confusing system that's being created by the divine here. It's actually the divine approaching each person on a level that they will understand and they can relate to. And these coloured pathways will draw everyone back as they walk their path to the one pure light of the divine. Their pathways into the pure light, not scattered paths that confuse the direction to the light. And he listened to what I had to say, and his eyes were kind of like this, sort of like all over the place, like he was trying to take in the information and look at it from a different view. And after literally about a minute of silence, and I'm just standing there in the shop thinking, okay, is he all right? He suddenly exclaims, "Hallelujah! Yes, that's the answer. The many different pathways, the many colours, the rainbow are leading people to the one pure light, which is why these hippie dudes had the light within them, the light that I have within me, because all pathways lead to one light. All pathways lead to the centre." And he was so relieved that I'd given him an answer regarding this conundrum that he'd never been able to work out. He thanked me, and he was really, really earnest when he thanked me. He was so pleased. And he said to me, there's not many times where people make me stop and think and prove me wrong. But I must admit that what you say in relation to the many different colours and the many different paths leading all those different characters, all those different people back to the one pure light makes perfect sense. And I applaud you. Thank you. Thank you. And he left the shop a lot lighter that day and seemed a lot more happier in himself from that point on. So I think that's the thought for the day, really. It's easy to get confused in our own personal philosophies. We only start to make sense of the wonderful world of spirituality when we look at it more holistically, incorporating all the different people with all their different expressions and understanding that we're all on the same page regardless of what religion, what expression of spirituality, what path we are following. It's all the same thing. And that's important, I think. There's an old Sufi saying that explains this in one line, actually. And the Sufi saying is, there are many lanterns, but it is all the same light. Thank you for listening. Whatever you're doing and wherever you are, you might be on a hippie adventure in a Volkswagen camper van. Have fun, and I'll see you next time.